That is Joey. We are
All right,
live.
everyone. Welcome in to the Face of Truth Reactions. This is the Pure Politics and Bullshit series that we have every Friday night right here on YouTube. So go ahead, make sure you hit the subscribe for the channel for us. Helps a lot. And we have our normal guest here tonight. It's always good to have it. Drum Fools, how are you doing?
Well, there's absolutely nothing normal about me, but I guess I do come here often, so I'm doing great tonight. Ben, thank you very much for having me, sir.
Oh, anytime you want to come by. It's always up to you. So you always keep showing up. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah, I guess so. Or something wrong, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
either way I'm here, so.
Either way. LW, always. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, FTR. How are you? How's everybody else doing tonight? Looking forward to another show.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, at least we can come on here and ramble
Yeah,
on for a
absolutely.
few hours about something, you know.
Mr. Duggar, the man of the hour here.
It's always a challenge to see if we can get FTR a strike. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to be here to hang out with quality people. Jesus is Lord, and I'm ready to dig in.
All right. And the myth over here, Joey Foster.
Yeah, I'm just so proud to be here. You know what? I'm up here in the hollers in the mountains of West Virginia, and I just thought that I just needed to put my input in to this here show. So I'm here to do it, man.
You got Snuffy Smith coming in here.
That's a nice tooth, by the way, there, Joey.
Ain't that nice?
That was
Yes,
pretty
all right.
exaggerated. That was pretty exaggerated.
Are you talking about on that fish or
Yeah, the fish man.
No, the tooth. The tooth.
Yeah, you know, you had some guy just standing there. He goes, "Come here, man. Let me hold them fish for a second. Take a picture of it, girl."
Yeah, hurry up. Snap that picture real quick.
Let's see if we can get that strike tonight. That'd be great.
Oh, hell yeah. I guarantee you I can get it for you if you want.
Don't try too hard. Don't try too hard.
yeah, Mr. Duggar's really good at getting strikes, so you know.
That's my job.
That's true.
I can make that happen real fast. Just
Mr.
let me know.
Duggar,
10 minutes.
Did you piss off the YouTube gods, Mr. Duggar?
I will neither confirm or deny it, sir.
I got put in Facebook timeout yesterday. I'm in Facebook timeout for 6 days.
Do you share too many cat videos?
Yeah.
I was
I put
ostracized.
Facebook.
I was absolutely ostracized. That's $20 word, by the way. From Facebook, they took my channel down, never to be seen ever again. So I jumped in.
I put Facebook in timeout about 4 years ago. So
well, I generally like I go into the groups and I'll like post in certain groups if Ben's going live or having his new video or Mark Rogers or Mayhem Matthew or Rooster or somebody. I'll go into like different chat rooms and post that they got a live show. But I never do them on the same day because that's where they catch you. You know, you just got to promote one show one day and not do another one. So yesterday I got brave. Everybody was doing like these videos and live shows and stuff. And I was just like, well, I just got all kinds to do. So let me just promote them all. Yeah. And then when I went to promote Mark Rogers last night, the first time I promoted it, it came up and said, your account is in jeopardy. And then it came up with this big blank screen and it said, you have been signed out of your account. Please sign back in. When I went to sign back in, it said, check your email. And I checked my email and I'm busted for 6 damn days. So thank you, Facebook. Kiss my ass.
For promoting another channel?
Hell yeah.
Oh, why is that illegal?
Oh, they call it friggin' spamming. And I'm not spamming because, look, the West Virginia groups, they always want to know when like Del Wolfley's going live on YouTube. And so I'll post that Del Wolfley's going live. And then the other groups, some of these other groups, they want to know when Mark Rogers is going live. So I post in their groups. Hey, I don't do nothing they don't tell me to go ahead and do it or tell them that I'm going to do. But Facebook catches a hold of it and they think it's spamming and then they get rid of me for 6 days.
Well, now we know what spamming is. It's promoting a West Virginia channel.
No, I promoted a South Carolina channel and and then Mark Rogers, which is like everybody, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
enjoy Facebook jail because that's
Yeah,
where
there
you
you
belong.
have it.
Probably, it's where you belong.
Yeah,
So-
it probably is.
Don't drop the soap.
He might like it.
Ooh.
So, anyways, yeah, tonight we got a loaded topic, and by no means are any of us, minus Mr. Duggar being the YouTube lawyer, by no means are any of us like legal professionals. So I have to blanket statement to cover the whole episode.
Nothing
For
we
the
can,
future
we say
guys.
can be taken for literally truth. Anything we
Are
might
you?
say might be fictitious. Decide on your own. Do your own research. Because we're full of shit.
Yeah, let's just peel that Band-Aid off and jump right in.
Exactly. So
Right.
tonight's topic, as it says, is America's justice system is not equal for all, which I'm going to pull this up real quick before we get into our weekly stuff. But great screenshot from you, Joey.
Yeah, and then we've got this one right here too. Dumping on Trump.
I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of is right now, especially it seems like that. So, but that is the general topic right now tonight. But before we do that, we're going to do our weekly segment here of the funny or weird news story of the week, if people found any. Anyways, that is. So, TF, do you have any? TF has walked away. LW.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm here. Okay, so I found this really funny story, and the title of this story, when I came across it, says, "My jailed fiance mailed me his sperm in a sandwich bag to get me pregnant." Okay, so apparently there's a TikToker and YouTuber as well named Nisha. I'm not exactly sure. I don't speak jive, but apparently this TikToker named Nisha revealed in a shocking mail tale a viral video which has clocked up more than 5 million views. So her boo or whatever, I don't know what would you call it. So her man is in jail and he's got another year to serve, but they wanted to go on ahead and start having a family. So he got a sandwich baggie and mailed her out of prison, mailed her a letter, and inside that letter was a sandwich baggie full of his sperm.
Oh boy.
And
Wow.
so, I mean, she called it a crazy experience, and she did a play-by-play going through the whole thing. Unfortunately, though, it did not work. So, I'm prayers up to them. I hope they, keep trying and all that kind of jazz. But I thought that was a pretty interesting story that, basically people are mailing sperm out of prison to, she actually sent it by the U.S. Postal Service, and it didn't work. So
I think what the problem was, they didn't use a Ziploc. You know what I mean? For the pregnant.
Yeah.
yeah, apparently, it says after the false positive, the pair will wait until after. Okay, his name is Twino, Twinno, TWINNO. So they're going to go on ahead and wait till after he's out of prison now to start a family. Quote, "We're not trying again. It was just for fun to see if it would even work." So,
Well, I think they should just let him, get it on right there in prison. Just get
right,
it
a
over with.
conjugal visit or something.
Yeah,
It would make more sense.
Let him have some fun and have their baby. I mean, hell, what can go wrong? They're just
It would make more sense than a Ziploc bag, but
Yeah, it's like reusing a rubber. You just turn it inside out and shake the fuck out of it.
right.
Next-
But a Ziploc
next-
bag, I mean, you can at least, take your bologna sandwiches out fishing the next day or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
sure,
next
sure.
time Maybe raid the cafeteria and get some ice or something to pack it on. See if it'll last a little bit longer.
Right. I didn't say I wanted extra mayonnaise. What are you talking about?
Oh no, not extra mayonnaise.
That was one way to start it off. I don't know if LW can top that.
All right, there you go, LW. On to you.
Well, that's hard to live up to, but I'll try. I just thought the Twitter war between Joe Rogan, RFK Jr., and Peter Hotez was pretty funny.
Yeah.
RFK Jr. went on a Joe Rogan podcast and gave his opinion and statistics or whatever. And Peter Hotez came out and challenged Joe RFK Jr. as conspiracy theorist, neo-fascist, for whatever that's worth. So they clapped back, and Joe Rogan offered him $100,000 to his favorite charity if he would come on and debate RFK Jr. And that was just interesting to watch over the last few days.
There was actually some other people chiming in and throwing money, so they were up over $1 million for him to come debating, and he still refused it. And went. I think
as of today, it's 2.6 million.
Yeah, and then he went on MSNBC and tried to explain why it was beneath him to go argue that because he doesn't have any facts. He's a liar.
Yeah, so I found a funny video of Peter Hotez contradicting himself, backtracking, and just over the last couple of years. It was a pretty hilarious video.
Did you bring it with you?
I did send it in to
FTR.
I don't believe you sent me anything, or unless that was that video and I still couldn't access it for some reason. I think that was a different one you sent.
Well, this is
traveling.
This is awkward.
LW0.
Well, this is awkward.
I didn't get any messages. I didn't get any messages or links, so I'm just being
the sperm in the Ziploc bag wins.
At this point, but hold on.
Bologna sandwiches for everybody.
I have a feeling Mr. Duggar got something special. I don't know why.
I do have something special. I'm hallelujah, praise Jesus and all his little minions. They finally got around to censoring pencil neck watermelon head shift. That just made my day. I've been tee-heeing about it for the last couple of days. And the thing is, what cracked me up about them was they're getting in the middle of Congress and hollering shame, all the Democrats. Well, that was obstruction of justice. That's the same thing what they're trying to get are interrupting a congressional thing, and that's what they got the J6 people in there for. So they should be tried for the same thing they tried. They're trying the January 6th by blocking a procedure of the Congress. But I just want to say I thought it was extremely funny and about time that they called him to the carpet, and he's going to have to stand in the well of the Congress and listen to our guy tell him you're an idiot and you're now censored. So that was my happy thought for the week.
That was a pretty good story. I wish I'd pulled that video of when they did censor him, and you just heard half the chamber booing, like, and it was like he was just like, "No, it's done," slamming the gavel down.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I mean, the guy had, he had intelligence briefings that the other people in Congress didn't get, and he just flat came out and lied.
Well, let's save some of that detail because that's one of our talking points during this whole segment. So let's save some of those juicy stuff there, Mr. Duggar. Don't spill it all out now.
Cool. I won't send you a Ziploc, that's for sure.
Oh fuck! Don't please no, do not send it to TF.
Return to sender. Address unknown.
You just get this tiny padded envelope.
No such
Mr. Duggar. You'll be like, nope.
Just white tadpole.
Well, I know Joey's been waiting for 5 or 6 days to share his news story. So
no, not necessarily. I mean,
that's a lie. That's a damn lie.
I forgot what that other news story was because I'm so pissed off about Biden right now. But yeah, so let's start it off with that funny news story because I sent this out to you, and I think I sent it to Traveling Fools as well. So, a Penn State. Oh my God, this is horrible to talk about. So, a Penn State professor was caught at a state park. So the state park had put in these cameras to try to catch somebody stealing soap out of the bathrooms. Somebody was stealing their soap. So they put these cameras in around the bathrooms to see Hoover Cylinder soap, and they catch this professor on with his dog, raping his dog over and over and over again.
I've seen that.
This
Oh my
Penn
God.
State professor. So the thing about it is they went back and watched some old videos, and they've got him on several counts of doing the same thing. And what was amazing is the professor's rebuttal to this was he's just trying to relieve stress. Now this is a married man, you know. He's out raping his dog. He's trying to relieve stress.
What was he talking about? Him or the dog?
Yeah. He probably didn't help his case with Peter.
Did the dog smoke a cigarette afterwards too, or what?
You said this was Penn State?
Yeah, Penn State professor.
Yeah,
One of Penn
State.
Yeah, one of the best comments after one of that news articles was just so simple, clear. It was literally just great. This is exactly what Penn State needed. Like, it's like, yep.
Yeah,
almighty.
Kind
But
of
they
a
did have
crazy thing.
Biden's little office there too, you know. So
Yeah.
the Chinese office there.
I don't
Hey,
know.
so I've got one more, just like a bonus little thing that I thought was really funny. So, and I'm not sure, I didn't see it in like the talking points, but of course we all know about that submarine or makeshift submarine that everybody sent down there to the Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that something you wanted to talk about tonight, there, FTR, or?
Yeah, we can throw that in right now.
Okay, well, I mean, we obviously should. I mean, the absurdity of that whole thing. I mean, what the lighting system was from Camper World, and the control system.
Yeah,
was,
I saw that.
Yeah, the control system was a Logitech like knockoff PlayStation controller.
Yeah,
So-
so our remote.
In the
Yeah.
in the words they used to hiring, there was no 50-year-old white racist. You know what I mean?
It was literally DEI to death. Like,
Right. So what's funny? I'll throw this funny little tidbit. So people have been going and leaving reviews on Logitech controllers now, saying how the down button works great, but the up button doesn't work.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, man.
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. So, and prayers to everybody that died in that, you know, but
Yeah.
nothing's funnier than human misery. So, you know, we got to laugh at it.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't the builder and creator of that die in that too? Wasn't he in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's in pretty
So-
deep water.
So no one will ever be brought to justice about this. We'll never probably hear about this again because there won't be no trial. The man's dead.
yeah. Well, apparently too, which what I've read recently is that we actually knew the government. You know, apparently we have some underwater secret, you know, things floating around, and they actually got the signal of an imploding vessel or whatever, like an hour after they lost service. So, but they didn't want to come out, and you know, don't quote me on this. This was just what I'm reading off of Twitter, but that they didn't want to come out and say that because they didn't want to right off the bat give away the fact that we had this technology down there. So all those things wasting time and man hours and all that stuff could have been saved.
Thank God I'm not white.
Yeah,
allegedly.
really.
Allegedly.
All right. Well, that was my little bonus round there. See, I actually came with 2 today, Ben.
Well, Joey's was pretty good, but yeah, I don't think it could overdo the sperm in the.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was funny.
Yeah, sperm in a baggie outdoes sperm in a dog any day.
I don't know about that. That's pretty sick, man. Poor little dog.
I mean, well, yeah, that one too.
Little
It takes
collie.
the best friend to a new height, I think. I don't know, or low, to new low.
Yeah, what is that? That does raise a question. What is happening at Penn State?
Yeah, really. I mean, you know, you're
What is
raising a
happening?
dog. And the headlines, that's all the headlines would say. Rape the dog repeatedly. And it said this through the article like 5 times. Rape the dog repeatedly.
Better than a kid, I guess. I mean, at least Penn State's moving up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Lord.
Shut that university down.
It takes giving the dog a bone a whole new definition.
Shut that university down immediately.
Yeah, you say what's going on at Penn State? It's like, what is not going on at Penn State? Like,
Hey, some
Jesus Christ.
freaks.
I'm wondering how many times we can say the R word without YouTube like blocking the shit out of this already.
Well, it depends
So
on what
when
the
I-
R word is. So, you know.
When I seen that article, I posted that article to a Penn State Twitter feed, and I put in there, call us incest again. You know, because they're always saying West Virginia's incest. So I just told them, call us incest again. They're out there screwing dogs.
They don't went to the family. They down to the dogs now.
This is the type of fascinating topics that you get to hear on this type of show every Friday night. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're watching. Because if you want more content like this, we will provide it.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
So, do you want me to share this other story? This other thing I got.
All right.
do it.
Well, while we're
I
Get
don't
here,
have
another
to-
doozy for us, do you?
I
Yeah,
don't
while we're
care.
here. while we're here,
this,
why not?
this is the Biden controversy, right? All right. So I got a few things I'm going to bring up, and I'm gonna play videos, and I got 4 videos, but we'll watch them a little bit at a time.
Well, is this going into the topic tonight?
I don't know what topic we're with tonight.
It's
American justice
it's
is
on-
not equal for all. Yeah, this is the topic. This is the topic.
All right. Well, then let's introduce the actual topic once again, so everyone's caught on board, caught up. So again, the justice system. I think not just because of the instances we're talking about. I think in daily life, if you look at any news stories or like trial verdicts or even penalties and fines for certain people, you see discrepancies all across the board. Like it's supposed to be equal, but it's not. And so it is funny, especially as we're bringing up the specific of, especially with Hunter Biden right now, and like with Trump, it is you definitely see it. I mean, it's pretty plain today to anyone who actually has somewhat of a fucking brain, which I know a lot of people don't. But
Yeah, that's a tall order in 2023, man.
it is. I mean, all right, Joey, give us your topic and we'll roll with this and we'll adjust. We'll go from there.
All right. So it's just talking about this Biden controversy. So I shared screen down there. Can you put it up? All right. So let's let me know if you can hear us and everything.
Communist Party for payment. Quote, I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. The text completely blowing up Joe Biden's consistent claims he's never been involved in his son's business dealings.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Did Hunter Biden commit a crime? Have you spoken to your son, Mr. President-elect?
Joe don't know where to go.
Somebody
get me.
nothing wrong.
I'm confident.
You still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation at a smear campaign, like you said?
Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony.
Hunter's lawyers not denying that the first son actually sent the text message. Quote, any verifiable words or actions of my client in the midst of a horrible addiction are solely his own and have no connection to anyone in his family.
So in other words,
Party for payment.
Uh,
Quote,
in
Can
other
we
words,
first address the fact that she is like, what, 80?
Yeah, she's up there and she's still looking fucking really good.
I mean, she's still, I mean, You know,
Yeah, I'd donkey punch her.
Yeah, she
Jesus
does.
Christ.
So I mean, it's just crazy. So Biden in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20 and 21 denied ever having any of these dealings with his son and all this stuff. But then his son sends out a text message, July 30th of 2020, to this Chinese business leader, saying, trying to expunge funds out of him with his father's rights right there. But his father,
$5 million.
right. So now here's the biggest thing about that to me is the fact that number one, he's trying to take money from a businessman, right? And he's using his father to do it. Now, wasn't that the same thing? If you think about it, Trump, when he had his meeting with Zelensky, remember they were going to impeach him and everything because he put pressure on Zelensky. Well, that's what the friggin' president's supposed to do, is put pressure on world leaders, right? About things. But this ain't a world leader. This is a businessman being pressured by the president of the United States, and everybody's turning a blind eye. And to prove that blind eye, I've got another video. Let me bring it up. Let me find it here.
And Trump wasn't a quid pro quo either. Okay, he released it. He did something what they didn't think he was going to do. He released the transcript. He said he had a perfect call, and it was. All he had to do, all he told him to do, was look into it, the corruption, because that's what the guy ran on, was clearing out corruption in Ukraine.
Right.
Oh, and not just these texts that came out. I think those texts they said were for actually 2017, but the point was it's proving potentially that, again, the guy knows about it because then they showed White House logs during his VP stance, and I think even after presidency, and Hunter's business associates had been there like 50 different times.
I mean, it's quite
No
obvious.
way.
It's quite obvious they are above the law.
Yeah, there's no way that he didn't know anything about this or
They
hear about it.
rented an office together.
So, all right, here's another video. As soon as you get it up, I'll go over and turn it on. All right.
I guess we'll be waiting a while.
All right. Let me go over and turn this on.
Some have chosen to attack the integrity of the Justice Department and its components and its employees by claiming that we do not treat like cases alike. This constitutes an attack on an institution that is essential to American democracy and essential to the safety of the American people. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Nothing can be further from the truth.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
That guy looks like he should be kin to Fauci.
Yeah. So that's it. That's not it. I got one more. I got one more video for you.
And Joey's coming swinging hot tonight.
Yeah. So let me share this one. I got two more videos for you. Let me share this one and.
Too bad he can't count.
I'm gonna buy somebody a lighter.
All right. You ready? Here we go.
The president invited his son Hunter to the state dinner last night. I'm wondering if you can take us into the thinking and decision making of why the president decided to invite.
I'm just not going to get into family discussion, personal family discussion. As you know, Hunter is his son. I'm just not going to get
Let
into
me
it.
ask you this: if Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors?
Well,
2 days earlier?
a couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend events at the White House. You could look at past presidents. I'm sure you have.
Here's the problem. That's true. It's not. But the past presidents haven't had sons in federal custody and crap, and him attending a state dinner. So, not the same. One more. So let me bring this one up, and this is the last one. There we go. And here we go.
Boy, Joey does love good old Judge Janine. You're gonna have to restart it, Joey. You gotta wait till it adds to the stream.
Yeah, I'm noticing
Tell
like
you,
a
I know
Judge
that my
Janine
colleague
pattern.
has dealt with this. He addressed this at the White House Council. I just don't have anything else to share. I just answered the question. I just answered the question.
Yes or no, was the president involved in the
I just
shakedown
answered,
attempt?
Stephen,
Yes or no?
Stephen, I just answered the question. I just said, it's not up to you how I answer the question. I just answered the question by telling you my colleagues at the White House Council has dealt with this, and I would refer you to them.
So, in other words, now this Hunter text, right? Apparently, he was on cocaine and high, and just mentioned that his father was there. That's their narrative now. Now, I remember in 2017 they asked Biden if his son, if him and his son have ever done anything. And he says, no, my son's a good boy. He doesn't do anything wrong. They've had
Smartest
that
person
narrative.
he's ever met.
Yeah, they've had that narrative forever, right? Now they've changed their tune to, well, he's strung out on cocaine.
Well,
He's got to be, because Biden couldn't have been there.
but then that brings a whole different bevy of issues in technical terms. So literally, just for instance, take that scenario with that text and say he was whacked, he was just cracked out of his mind, and he's like just sitting alone in some, whorehouse or whatever by himself, and he's like, my father's next to me, and pressuring a foreign national person to pay money. So isn't that bribery? Like,
yeah,
on an international scale? I mean, this just you just opened up potentially a whole nother bevy of fucking issues for
Hey, who's to say the international community? Who's to say the international community is not going to come down and press charges for an international crime or something? I don't know. I don't know if anybody can do that or not. But I mean, wouldn't it be kind of funny if the president of the United States got marched out under international law, under arrest? Oh, I think it would be hilarious. But I mean, you don't know. I don't know what the law is. International laws, what they can govern and what they can and cannot do. But bottom line is, this country can do something, and they wanted to impeach Trump for pressuring a world leader, and here we've got somebody being pressured that's not a world leader, and
the only reason they impeached Trump over this was because of this.
Yeah.
I mean that's as obvious as anything in the world. I mean, it's the Democrats' playbook. Blame the other person for what you are guilty of because it's going to come out down the road. So go on ahead and throw it out there. Blame them for what you're going to do. Impeach him. Do all this nonsense. And then the news and the media and everybody like that is on the same team as them. I mean, it's totally obvious with after Durham's report came out, and he was, I don't know if anybody watched that, but him getting I mean, the guy, obviously, he's on that team as well. I mean, all of them are working together. They're in cahoots. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is a banana republic at this point, and I hope not to say that we are totally fucked, but it's getting pretty bad.
Well, I mean, there's already evidence that, for instance, the same type of thing, pressuring, like Trump pressuring Zelensky. Well, what did Biden do? He pressured them to fire the prosecutor that was going to investigate Hunter into shady business deals, or he wouldn't give Ukraine money, and they fired him. So then he was like, okay, here's your money. That's worse than what Trump did.
No. Remember the Justice Department. The Justice Department stated they couldn't find any evidence of that. Remember, it couldn't have happened. It couldn't have happened.
Son of a bitch, he got fired. He sit there and said it. It's on tape. Him doing a quid pro quo. They were trying to get on Trump on quid pro quo, and they got Biden going, well, son of a bitch, he got fired. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Kash Patel, like on the gun charge for Hunter Biden as a prosecutor, they have a standing sentencing. Nobody gets that deal. No, we're the liberals. We're the gun activists that average 3 to 5 years on each case, prison time, and he gets to deferred adjudicated. He can actually get a gun back in a couple of years.
Yeah, And that was the one of the talking points. So that's a great segue into what we were just talking about there. Is
Well, let me say this before you segue. So what they've basically done is they brought. Okay, so there's a really big charge floating around like the elephant in the room, linking to Joe Biden. So what they've done is they've gone and they've wiped these small charges, which are being over exaggerated by, people on the right and things like that. Like, oh my God, he could have got this. And you look at maximum penalties. I mean, how many people, like in all honesty, have went out and said, "Oh, I ain't on no drugs," and they, smoked a joint last night and went and bought a gun. You know what I mean? That's a small crime in reality. So what they've done, I mean, being late on your taxes and getting a thing and working it out with the IRS is a small crime in reality. So what they've done is they've taken these small crimes, thrown it at them, and been like, see, justice is equal. Don't look at the elephant in the room. Look over here. We charged him. Oh, he pled guilty to this, and we're going to slap him on the wrist. It's all just to say, hey, look, we actually did
narrative.
Something. Yes,
narrative.
It's all a fucking narrative, just to make the Justice Department look equal. And they're not exactly. They're not looking at what the real. Nobody gives a shit if Hunter Biden went out and bought a gun when he was strung out on cocaine. Nobody really fucking does.
Yeah, it's the same thing with this Biden. Biden having all these secret documents, right? Same thing as Trump. Only thing is Trump was president. He was only vice president. And not only that, some of these secret documents he have are from when he was a senator. And that's a big ass no. You're not allowed to take them out of even friggin' your office.
Well, VPs aren't either. VPs aren't either.
So right, VPs are not either. So I mean, but no, we'll wash that away. That's fine. Trump's was much worse because he didn't let us in the room the first time we asked. Well, neither did Biden. Well, we had to get a warrant for Donald Trump. You did for Biden too.
It goes back all the way to Obama. When Clinton when Clinton paid for the dossier. Which they used to get a FISA illegally and start the whole Russia hoax. I mean, it went clear up to all the way up to Obama and stupid phone. And so I mean, they're all in it. It's a conspiracy, and I think they should. They got Giuliani. I don't know why they can't get one of those racketeering charges, because it's a planned offense. Man, y'all quit texting shit.
No, to Duggar's point. Well, to Duggar's point, it's been proven that Biden, Obama, FBI, everybody knew that all that stuff that they were throwing at Trump was with the Russia dossier and all that stuff was fake. They all sat there and ran with the news. Everybody, they're all working together against you, or against what the American people.
And yet they let Mueller. And yet they let Mueller go on in the special counsel when they all.
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong for the American people to actually just hear the goddamn truth? Like, can you not just put out what the truth is?
You can't.
Why do you have to? Well, no, I think they can, because the truth is actually way more simplified than all these damn lies that these people make up, going forward. Why can't people just hear the truth? They have to make up all these lies and slander these people. And the fact that Biden, Obama, the FBI, the Justice Department, everybody knew all that was fake. Even the news, they all knew all that was fake. And yet they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it down everybody's throats for 3 years. And you know what that is? That is a real insurrection.
Yeah. I think for years, presidents have done a lot of things that made them feel above the law. And I think this goes all the way back to Reagan with the Iran-Contra affair. And then you got into Clinton, and I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And then you get into Obama years, you have the gun running, and and all that stuff. You know, you get into the Trump era, and the first time Trump does one little thing out of line that's not even out of line, they're like, okay, we need to impeach him. We've got to get rid of him. Now Biden's in office, and it's the same thing back over again. Let's just cover it up. It's not a big deal. You know, Trump is such a bad person. He's done it all. You know, I don't like them. I don't like him. I don't care who the candidate is. I don't care who the president is, Democrat, Republican. You can't single one person out, and then everybody else has gotten away with doing the exact same crap. Every one of them have secret documents stored at their house in unsecured locations. Every one of them do.
What was it? Biden was renting some place from the Chinese. Actually owned the place. And he's renting the place that he's storing this stuff in from the Chinese. I mean, for fuck's sake,
the Penn building at Penn State.
Yeah.
And the media,
You know,
I mean, it's like a mafia. The media are their, cover for them. They just don't talk about it. Everybody knows. A bunch of liberal journalists who investigated, and they found out, okay, well, there's nothing to this Russia thing, years ago when it first came out. And now they just, when those people come out, they just call them like right wingers. Like Matt Taibbi, you're a right winger. You're a right winger. Oh, you're a Russian. You're a Russian agent.
You're a MAGA,
y'all
so
remember what the first big shot against Trump is when they released that recording, like, they'll let you grab him by the pussy.
Yeah.
And, and from then on, it was on against him. It was already on from the time he come down the elevator or the escalator. And, I mean, they were the first thing they did right after he's elected. Well, time to impeach him. I mean, he didn't have it. It was, I mean, he didn't have much. He still got everything he said he was going to do done. Okay. Except for the border, which I think he left open on purpose to show what the Biden regime would do.
And I love Trump just as much as the next guy, but he did not get everything that he said he wanted to get done. But one thing I will say is he tried to get the things done.
Yes, he did.
He tried to get the things done, and he was fighting against his own people that Donald Trump made a huge mistake. He came into Washington, D.C., knowing absolutely nothing about how Washington, D.C. works. He wanted to drain the swamp. I think he got there and realized the swamp was a hell of a lot deeper than what he thought it was. And he got there, and I mean, from the beginning, he listened to all the wrong people. Everybody, and that's not necessarily his fault. He didn't know. He trusted the wrong people. And I mean, I think if he gets in there again, it will be better.
Yeah.
Well, it's like George Carlin said 20 years ago. It's one big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And another thing too, if he gets in, he really needs to stay off of like Twitter or whatever platform he's wanting to get out to. Yeah, I think it's okay for him to be on. I think sometimes though he says things.
He is who he is. You got to let him be him. I don't want
only Rosie O'Donnell.
I want to be Rosie so bad. I would make a better. I tell you, I'd make a better Rosie than her. To tell you the truth, she had not a clue that being a Rosie. But he's had somebody on his ass from the moment he got out. But I wouldn't change him for nothing. He's a regular guy. He can't help but be who he is. He's an egotistical. Any guy that owns that kind of business and does that well, he's got to be arrogant. He's got to have a little masculinity to him. He's got to be self-assured.
No, that's toxic. That's like toxic in 2023.
Well, of course it's toxic because that's the lefties telling him. I like the way he put it. He says, when they keep fucking with you, when they keep messing with you, sometimes you got to put them in their place. Donald Trump. Yeah, baby. I love that shit. Is he all God to me? No, he's not. He's not perfect. His name's not Jesus. But he's still the best president I have seen in that office in my 63 years. I see more transparency through him than any other one. At least he's calling them out. You know what I mean? Everybody was happy-go-lucky. Didn't know they're freaking. A lot of people didn't know the news was setting them up. They didn't know that there were a uniparty. They thought their vote mattered. That the alphabet companies were in control of our company and unseen people. So, it's on. I still think he's commander in chief. I still think we're in devolution, but it's another day.
Well, I'll go back to I like a lot of stuff about Trump, but I don't like a lot of things about Trump. But to me, that doesn't matter. I mean, look at the first 3 years. He was only president for 4 years. I mean, one term. His first 3 years was the bullshit Russia thing. Every day, 24 hours on the news. I mean, it was 24/7. Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia. And in his fourth and final year, it was COVID. What kind of chance did that guy have?
You still have Hillary today still saying the election was stolen from me by Russia.
Yeah. Hillary's gone on there and put out, how the election was stolen from her and all that. And then everybody went Trump, Russia. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that was the biggest insurrection I've ever seen in a government. And then a guy in a damn, bullhorn costume and some old grandma and shit goes to the Capitol and they make up and say all these people died when they really didn't. And I mean, people did die, but not because of that. Some dude had a heart attack like 5 blocks down, and they're like, "Oh, that was because of that." And some cops, died like days and days later. I don't want anybody to die, but the whole thing was such a bunch of BS. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and again, now you have like the first indictment of Trump is the alleged campaign violations. So New York State, DA Bragg, which these are federal violations, not state. And everyone else passed and said, we're not going to charge because there's nothing here. And he takes something that's a misdemeanor and goes, I'm going to do this and make them all felonies out of nothing. Then you've got now the classified documents. They're like, hey, here's another 37 felony charges. Let's just rack them up as much as we can. Again, these are all just diversions and ways to try to, corrupt the system further. It's the next
he won't be found guilty for shit. All they're trying to do is carry this on right through the election cycle, trying to, make people think, well, I can't vote for this guy. He won't be found guilty of nothing. All this is going to go away, just like every, we've got him now. Jesus Christ.
Well, let me ask you a question, DF. Let me ask you a question. What have you seen from 2015 to 2000 or till today that makes you think that he won't be found guilty?
What have I seen from 2015 till now that makes me think that he won't be found guilty?
Russia collusion, COVID, all this stuff. What makes you think that?
Well, no, I don't think he'll be found guilty. They'll probably at the end of that's why they've got like 34 charges or something, whatever the hell it is. They're going to find him guilty on one. And it's going to be some, misdemeanor charge that he'll pay $100,000 fine for. But what the narrative that the media and Twitter and the whole nonsense circus show will go with was Trump found guilty. And they'll make it look like he was guilty of all of that. And he'll get found guilty for one stupid little thing. And it'll be a slap on the wrist, and it's not going to hurt him whatsoever. He is still going to be the 2024, I guess, nominee for president of the Republican Party, no matter what. I don't care if he's sitting in a jail cell or he's, pimping it out in Mar-a-Lago. Regardless of what happens, he will be that person.
Yeah, this is literally just a repeat of like, well, Russia didn't work, so now let's do this. It's just a repeat because, for instance, New York, where we've talked about the classified documents, you could do both ways for everyone. But like, look in New York, 34 felony charges or whatever. Well, Hillary she got a campaign violation of like $100,000 for the dossier. That's it. So why is Trump getting felony charges when they're misdemeanors? Because they just want to try to fuck with the system and make him look bad. And every time they do this, you
because
just
they
watch,
can't
watch,
beat him. That's why.
well, I know. I'm saying every time they do this, though, they just watch his poll numbers keep going, and they keep rising.
It's all
because people
optics.
are like,
It's
"This
all
is bullshit."
optics.
Well, the very first charge on there, they won't get that finished before the election. The very first charge, they got to prove that there was reason enough to break that attorney-client privilege. They have to prove that now. So they got to take that to court, because if they can't prove that, then the rest of everything they got on Trump is no good. You know, they have to prove that they were able to, that they had reason to break that confidentiality and go in and get Paul Manafort's notes and everything else and read them and go through them to make these charges. So that's the first thing. And that's going to take a year and a half, probably, at least, just for that first charge.
And then it'll be appealed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is the scenario where we're looking at, where this is like the next Russia. There's a distraction because it's literally, oh, he must be guilty. He can't be running for this right now. And then the timelines are perfect. And then underneath that, Biden gets, Hunter gets slapped on the wrist for this tax thing, the gun thing. We'll just make that go away. Whatever. And no one talks about it. They're just like Trump. But that's the funniest thing. I wish I pulled up that clip. Did you guys see The View? I mean, not because you watch it, obviously, but there was a clip of when they realized after his second indictment.
I didn't go to the dentist this week, so I missed The View.
There's a great clip floating around of them absolutely just melting down, going, so wait, he'll still be able to run for president and even be elected from a jail cell? And it's like, ding, ding. And oh my God, they were like, well, we've got to fucking change the laws. I'm like, God, you people are so stupid.
Yeah, there is no reason in the world, nothing they can do to keep him from running for president.
No, there's nothing they can do there.
Or winning. But they did.
Well, I don't know. We can look back a few years and maybe, argue that fact. But
all right, so how about this one here? So we're talking about unequal justice for all. Let me share this screen with you. And
Joey's coming in hot with the share screen tonight.
So unequal justice for all, right? Okay.
If I knew I did, I could get you some good. This is it.
This is a short. Okay, so this is the head of our COVID thing right now. Okay, this is the guy that's in charge of COVID right now.
Yeah,
and listen to what he says.
Taylor, right?
Yeah, listen to what he says.
Biden administration has to realize that anti-science is a killer. Disinformation. Yeah. It's not even just disinformation. This is an anti-science empire right now, and we need Homeland Security. We need the Justice Department. We've really got to figure this out. And the Health and Human Services will not be able to figure this out on their own. Biden administration.
So, in other words, you don't get vaccinated. Boy, we need Homeland Security to come to your house and knock on your door, pull out their badges and their handcuffs.
Yeah,
take your ass off.
That guy was saying that about 5 years ago, just with anything.
Yeah,
he wanted the DOJ.
He
wanted Homeland Security to look into anti-science vaccine deniers. He wanted Homeland Security.
Yeah, I know it. It's ridiculous.
That's the guy that won't debate Kennedy.
Yeah,
with Rogan.
He refuses because
he refused up $2 million. Yeah, I'll do it for $2 million. Shit, even if I'm wrong, give me my money.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm a commie motherfucker. Here, give me my money. Now I'll go be commie somewhere else. $2 million. I don't know, man. Y'all have a totally different outlook. I think we are at war right now. I think we have a resident in the White House. I think the POTUS is still commander in chief. I think we're in devolution. I think the storm has arrived. I think that pretty soon people are going to be held accountable. No war is won very quickly. Somebody always, what about the Israeli? What them some bitches still fighting? Okay, but this is an information reward where we didn't get to used to get to see nothing. Now it's starting to come out a lot. You think if the deep state and the Democrats were in charge, we'd have got to see even hear about a laptop that belonged to Hunter Biden, and less alone them admit it was his, because they did deny it for a long time, especially right there at the elections where they got 51 alphabet guys come in there and say, no, it's Russian information. That's bullshit. That ain't Hunter's.
Yeah, but
You
that
know
was
what I mean?
That was lawyers and journalists
Yeah.
that helped do that. That wasn't people in the FBI.
Oh, yeah. There was some retired FBI agents and CIA agents and NSA agents that signed off on that bill, sir. On that.
Well, I just want to say I love the alphabet people,
alphabet soup and alphabets in my soup.
Yeah, well, I will say, at least, like you said, one thing is no one's held accountable, and there was, as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Duggar, it's finally some of the GOP and even maybe a few Democrats, actually fucking grew a spine to confirm the censure of Adam Schiff today, or a couple days ago. Now, without the fine.
Can I get a yeehaw?
Well, the fine was stupid. The fine was what made it. The original.
I know.
The original.
I'm getting to. That's the point. With the whole thing that cost so much, they were going to charge them like half of that, and it could come out as campaign funds. It wasn't personal funds. It could come out as campaign stuff. But even without that, though, it still barely passed. But some people actually grew a spine because there have not many people that have actually officially been censured before. So it's still a small little baby step reward. It's nothing major, but it is a little step. I mean, something.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas Massey, he was against it at first because he said what they were trying to do had some constitutional holes in it. So he held off and gave his version that was constitutional. So it might have something to it. But he caught a lot of shit for not going along with it at first, but he was trying to iron out some constitutional problems with it.
Well, I give all the prop in the world to it's a freshman congressman. Her name
and
is
she's hot.
Yeah, her name is escaping me right now, but she introduced it twice. The first one failed. She's like, "Oh, I'm not done yet," and introduced it again. And this is like her first year in Congress. I'm like, I like this woman.
Is that brunette?
Yeah, that brunette would, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a video with her kind of shirt open a little bit. I was like,
yeah, we don't even need to do the would you on this one. We're just going to go ahead and call it a we're going to call it a 4-1 vote.
I like the one name. I like Congress. I like Congress Lady Bobbitt. She's a little tiger, man. I ain't shitting you. She's cute and she's mean. Her and that gal that brought in just charges. I don't care what they look like. They working like OGs up there.
Let me say something real quick. So
there she is.
I get aggravated. I get aggravated with one thing with Republicans, right? And this is the only thing. And I'm a Republican, so right. And I probably lean a little bit more towards libertarian end, but I'm Republican. So, but they always say the Democrats are so friggin' stupid. They're so dumb. They're just as dumb as they come. But then in the next breath, they come up. Some of them come up with these big long conspiracies about how they planned all this out and how they're going after Trump. Well, they can't be both. They can't be dumb and have all this planned out. Let me tell you what, these people aren't dumb. They're lifelong congressmen. They're lifelong political leaders, and they've been mayors and city councilmen and state legislatures and governors in some cases. These people are pretty damn smart. They know what they're doing. So I don't say that any of them are dumb. They know exactly what the hell they're doing. They're just
they have a narrative and they've been selling it for a long time and it continues to work. But Republicans, unfortunately, have no fucking spine to fight back the same way, like, play dirty with dirty. They try to take the high road sometimes, and it's like, that's not the way you're going to do this, because they're the ones who are still winning.
But that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Somebody's got to take the high road.
Well, it should be. But
my hat's off to Republicans for taking the high road in a lot of this stuff. But at the same time, at some point, American people have to stand up and say, hey, it's time for a change here, and start voting from some different damn people.
You got to give them a low blow once in a while, though. I mean, you have to. You've got to.
Well, there's a lot of dumb people that they target when they go into these. When you go into a local level, right? So every place finds the person with no morals. These corporations, these PACs, these everything, donors, super donors, they find the people who don't have a high moral character, and they weed out these people so they can give them a shit ton of money. They'll do whatever they say. And those are the people on the local level. When one candidate has 15 times the amount of the money that some just little Joe the plumber has, all the ads on the local TV goes to the guy with the money and the donors, and you hardly even see the other guy. And it goes from like that to the bottom all the way to the top. Who is getting backed by the donors and corporations and all that stuff? And it's just shitty people who will do whatever they say.
So we talk about unequal justice and everything, right? So, and this is not just in political views. This is in worldly views, right? This is for all of us. So Bob Huggins, as everybody knows, got fired at Western University for DUI up in Pennsylvania. But a lot of people don't know is that one of our personnel up there at West Virginia, I won't mention their name or what position they're in, they actually drove their car one night drunk and ran into a dormitory, done like $1.5 million for the damage to this place, and they slapped him on the wrist, and he still works for the university. So, there's not equal justice for anybody in this. Bob Huggins gets fired, that man got promoted. He's actually promoted like 3 times since then.
I don't know. It's in our face. There's no deniability in it. And I think, if you really had true poll numbers, it would show how really sick Americans are. I claim not to be a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an American. And I think the American Party is what needs to stand up against all these people. I tell you, who else is going to do it besides Trump, guys? Who else?
Chris Christie.
Yeah, right. That's what it is.
No, I'm totally
have a Krispy Kreme in each hand for every American.
Moose knuckle.
Well, I'm obviously I support Trump, but this Kennedy kid, he's asking some questions, and I like that because he's standing up against them and asking questions that are supposedly answered when it comes to green energy and things like that. So I like Kennedy a little bit too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he straight out said the CIA killed my father.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He's not your typical like what you think of Democrat today. He's like your old school, much more moderate. And my hope, to be honest, is that he stays in it no matter what, just to steal votes away. He'll be like that third party candidate or the third candidate that always takes like.
Are you listening 5%. Are y'all listening to yourself? The Democrat Party is not existing anymore. I'm sorry.
There's a whole
and he's not a Democrat. Okay. He's every time he talks and he starts talking these big things, notice how he gets. He starts holding himself. He's insecure about his answers because he's full of shit. Okay. He's playing on people's sensibilities. The Democratic Party still created the KKK. The KKK came from the Democratic Department, and it's evil. That's what y'all got to understand. And there's evil people on the Republican side too. We got to pick and weed, you know. And I think there's a come to Jesus meeting going to happen pretty soon. Mark my words. I'm a pretty wise old pucker, and I can catch fish. So I'm.
Well, there was no denying that there are terrible people on both sides, regardless of it. There was no denying that.
But don't let him play you. Don't get caught up into his little. They killed my daddy. You know, and I know they killed my daddy. You know,
Mr. Duffy, he would never get my vote. I'm just saying maybe he'll stay in and draw enough votes away.
Yeah, I'm not.
Fucking Biden or something like that.
I said I'm not voting for him. I just said I like some of the things he's saying, some of the questions he's asking. That's what I like.
He keep on. He gonna get Arkansas. You know what I mean?
Well, this isn't anything new. That's the thing.
He better stay out of Dallas.
That might be the narrative that he just started saying this recently because he wants to run for president. He's been saying this for about 20 years. Everything he's saying today, he said 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that's true. And he's he's calling them out on the vaccines and stuff. In which
he's also been doing that for 18 years.
Yeah, you know, so so has everybody else too. Now that's been against it. I tell you, it was an evil plan, and they got us with a pandemic instead of a pandemic. It was mostly just made up facts that were facts but weren't facts. You got them, you know, overloading nursing homes. You got them hospitals paying to report COVID. Come on. You know, I mean, we were all played. It was the biggest scam on the American people in the world ever. You know, if you were a con guy yourself, you'd have to clap for them some bitches. You know, they pulled it over all of us. The flu disappeared. They got you to take a poison. You know, they didn't get me. They got a lot of people though. Scared them to death. They scared my wife to death, and she had to go get her folks, and it killed her. So, allegedly.
Allegedly.
You know, I'm not trying to get that strike for the boy. I'm just mad as hell, and I really have to cling to my little conspiracy. It's the only hope I got. I watched this shit play out on me, you know, and what can I do? Except sit here on this show with you guys like every American should get on the show and start bitching about it. You know? And I'm telling you, it's just pure and simple.
I can agree with that.
It's madness. It's madness watching a few lead us all around like we're a herd of fucking cows or sheep.
I can agree with that, Doug, because that's like I said a while ago. It's time for every American to stand up and let your voice be heard. Yeah, and it starts at the voting booth. I mean, my gosh, these people that have been in there for 30 friggin' years, let's get them out. They don't need to be there that long.
Well, everything that was done in 2020 and beyond was by a lot of people complying. Just going along with it, shutting their businesses. Okay. I think that taught people. I think it'll be a little bit different now. You know, just when they come and they say, you do this, everybody just say, no. Now what are you going to do? What's your next step? You have to get enough of those people. Unfortunately, there's not enough, but that's where it starts, is the American people just going, no, go fuck yourself. What's your next move? Show me.
2020 was such a
they tried that on January 6th, and there's still a bunch of them in prison. Come on.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of people that people didn't listen to that was going to happen. That was going to happen. And a lot of people warned people, don't go there. This is going to happen. And people still went.
Yeah. You know, it was a setup because Pelosi, you know, failed in her job to secure the Capitol with the National Guard that was offered to her by Trump, her and the mayor. They, you know, it's their fault. They're accountable for that. Are they being called out on the floor? Hell no, they're not. Back to the two-tier justice system. You know,
Exactly.
you know. So everything we turn over, every time we turn over a rock, we find another bunch of bugs. You know, we got to keep pecking them bugs and take them fishing and feed them to fish, because we got to do something with them, because they're going to ruin our republic. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, it's an offense against the democracy. It's in a democracy. It's a freaking republic, a constitutional republic, one which I've sworn to defend against foreign and domestic terrorist evils. And I swore that oath, and I ain't gonna slip back on that oath. You know, and there's a lot of people just like me, and that's why I'm telling you, we have a resident, not a president, in the White House.
Well, and I took that exact same oath. You know, I took mine, I did mine, and that's what I stand for too. And that's why, you know, we're going into the double justice system, and that's why it says, you know, you know, the simple term for me is the establishment. So the long-term people that are just sitting around, they're just there having a ball, playing cards behind everyone's back, so to say.
Yeah.
If you're against them, they will come. They're going to come get you. They will try to, at least with all their power, and that's hence the two-standard system, where it's all supposed to be equal. But if you're against them, yeah, you're putting a target on yourself.
Well, I knew we were in trouble when I wouldn't give them a Social Security number one time for a rifle, and my blacksmith gave me the rifle. I took it home. He called me up, you know, because I'd never been refused a rifle in my life, and because I didn't put my Social Security number on them, they sent an ATF guy out. And Bill told me they're going to come to your house. Look, I said, well, I'll bring you back the weapon, and which I did. I took it back to my gunsmith. Once I found out they say I couldn't have it. You know, I obeyed the law. And he showed up at my house, and he said, I need to get that weapon. I said, well, that weapon's at my gunsmith. And I said, he informed me I had never turned one. You know, I'd bought several weapons, and I'd never been turned down. And I said, the reason you're turning me down for that weapon is because I didn't give you my Social Security number, which is not to be used as identification against a weapon, you know, and you keeping a record of me owning that weapon. But it's none of the government's business what weapons you have. Did you know that? That's the law. That's the constitutional law.
Yeah, you have a right to bear arms.
We have the right to bear arms. They don't have the right to know what kind of weapon we got, how many we got, where did we get them from, what our stockpile of ammo is, which I don't have any guns. Mine got stolen. And some of them went down on a fishing boat I had. But I'm just telling you, that's when I realized the government is here to control you. And that was the main part about the Democrats that changed me to being a Republican is, I wanted smaller government. And, capitalists worked good for me because I was a salesman, but the things they're doing now against two different people with the same charge, because one has a political leaning this way and the other one has a political leaning that way, they'll hit up social media and find out who you are, because we're all gullible. We all carry phones. We all get on social media. They can tell you, they can pretty much figure out which way you are. You know what I mean? So I think that's a danger for all of us, according to the Twitter files.
So just observing in the chat has a great little riddle for us all. And
yeah, I saw it. You calm your ass down over there, Joey.
Sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a great, what Mr. Doug was saying about big government. There's a great little kind of series still ongoing about like why, especially like we said, the establishment can attract / then attack those who don't go along with what the narrative is, because there's and this is a whole different topic. It's something maybe I'll have to set up, is how actually Trump was trying to change the U.S. back to the actual republic it was founded to be, not the democracy, quote unquote, that we know it is now, because, you know, it was state rule, small government, where now it's big government, less state rule. So
all democracies turn into a dictatorial state.
Yeah, it's
all democracies turn into a dictatorial state. Listen to that.
It's a whole fascinating thing.
Well, like I've said before, the Constitution is not. It's not a thing that is supposed to be pushed on us people, as what the government is allowed to do to us. But it is what we don't allow the government to do to us.
Exactly.
This is not their control. The Constitution is supposed to be the rules protecting us from our government, not the government giving us something.
Hi, Just Observing. Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, Just Observing? Thanks for being here. How's it going?
It's also not anymore a true capitalist country. Back in the 90s, they passed something. We used to have like over 50 media companies. They allow, I just lost my train of thought. Monopolies. And now we have 6 because of that law that was passed in the 90s.
And now it's you go straight to jail and do not collect $200.
Right. So it's just squeezing down little by little to where corporations and who they pay run the country.
So they want centralized.
So they outlawed a monopoly to create a monopoly.
The only people who decide whether we go to war or not are the people who make the bombs. That's a fact. Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, stuff like that. They back candidates. They donate to candidates. Those are the people. Every time we go to war or something, the people on the news who they bring on to say why we need to go, when you Google their name, they're a stockholder of Lockheed Martin. They're a stockholder of Raytheon. The government,
or Pfizer, or Moderna,
right? The head of the FDA, or used to be of the FDA, who went on TV for the last 3 years. He's a board member of Pfizer. So when you turn on MSNBC and CNN and saw this guy talking, he's a board member. How is that? That shouldn't be legal. I don't think it is.
Well,
maybe it is. I don't know.
Ethically, it definitely shouldn't be, because that's a conflict.
He was pitching for his product.
Someone didn't pass their ethics course apparently in college.
And then you see
they had all kinds of payoff. You know, they had warehouses full of doses that they just had to, you know, get rid of, that they had to pay for to put in the warehouses. The government, you know, we had to pay them for it.
And go back and look at people who work at the CDC, the CDC director, people who work in the top people there. When they leave the CDC, where do they go work? Pharmaceutical companies, because they did their job at the CDC. Now they can go collect their millions.
Well,
it's a scam. It's always been a scam.
And as a Just Observing here asked too, this is a good little question, so I want to see you guys take on it. So riddle me this: why have I, Hungarian, aka Gypsy, or my Amish friends never contracted or spread anything your government vaccinates for? Anyone? I mean,
no, that's a great point. She has a great point. I don't know. Can we talk about this, or is this?
We're working for that strike, so let's we can talk about this.
Can Mr. Duggar give a lawyer perspective before I say what I want to say?
No, go ahead. All thoughts and things people said on this panel or in chat is merely for entertainment purposes only. They're not being perpetrated as truth, facts, or jokes. They're just idle talk between friends.
Well, they might be jokes.
Okay, they are jokes.
Okay.
I never tell jokes.
Biden, I told one. I said a joke.
We're clear now. We're clear now. You can say anything.
Clowns
good.
to the left of us, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Well, thank you, Johnny Cochran, for your lead in. But
Johnny Cochran.
Yeah,
Mr. Duggar does kind of look like
Johnny
Johnny Cochran.
Cochran for a reason.
But to her question there, you can go back and just ask yourself this simple question. Before the law in the late 80s was passed to where vaccine makers specifically, they removed immunity. Nobody can sue them directly in a public, like in a court. It's some private court where they make some deal or some shit like that. But before anybody born before 1990 had like 5 or 6 shots as a kid. Today, in 2023, there are 16 vaccines and a total of 70 doses. Joey Foster, I'm pretty sure he was born before 1990, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
So by
1890.
by today's standard,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was that, like BC or?
that was a trick question.
Along with Grunt,
Shit, sorry.
the Wonder Track.
So my only point to that is Joey Foster is an anti-vaxxer. How he's still living, fuck all only knows, because he didn't get those 70 shots between 0 and 18 years old because he was born before 1990.
Freak of nature, I am.
I was born in 1959. Everybody
I'm wondering.
I guarantee Joey's got the pick shot where they put, they let that little circle on you.
Yeah. What was that? What was that? Was that the measles, mumps, and rubella?
No.
Or was that the
that
polio?
Polio.
Polio, yeah.
Yeah, and then you had your tetanus, and polio shots. Yeah, and other
I've
than
had
that,
about
that's
7
all
shots in my life.
I've had two vaccines only in my whole life.
So
I
no
took
shit.
I took like even recently, and I say recently, probably 10 years ago. Well, yeah, basically 10 years ago, the first time I went over there to Indonesia, I took a which is smart. I don't think this makes anybody like a pro-vax or anti-vax. Some things are proven to be smart. So I took like the hepatitis. I want to say it was B. I think because you can go over to some of these places and in the water sources and stuff like that. So I've taken those just to cover my ass, and I've taken a tetanus shot just because I work with construction and stuff. And I'm probably not even up to date on it, but I've had 4 in my life or 3 in my life or something.
Well, and you bring up a good point.
What a hell of a rusty nail you got through your foot there, Bubs.
Right. I'm glad I took a tetanus shot.
You bring that up right there. You just said that you had how many tetanus shots? 4 in your whole life?
Yeah, probably 4, because when you're a kid, you're supposed to get, you get the one when I was little, you get the one when you're 3 or 4 or something like that. And every 5 years or 10 years, and they say 15. I don't know.
Well, the schedule now in 2023, I took my daughter to the doctor. Between 0 and 6 years old, she's supposed to have 6.
6 tetanus shots?
Yes, 6.
I mean, she'd probably be better off to step on 6 nails.
Just tell her go eat a little dirt. She'd be all right.
Right.
Drink out of a water hose.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know how the hell any of us survived. I mean, my God, we played in the road. We played baseball in the road. Hell, we played outside. We played outside the house. I don't know how anybody can survive today.
I drank from the water hose a few days ago. I mean, I really did. I'm like, oh, shit.
And another point, the Hep B vaccine for children, for anybody. I mean, it came out in the 80s. It was designed for drug addicts and sex workers because it's passed through blood. It's not passed through water.
Okay, maybe that's not the one I took.
I think you got Hep C or something.
I
went to the doctor and he suggested that I take one of those things because of the drinking water and stuff like that, which of course you don't drink the water, but just being over in a place like that, it was suggested that I take that round. So I was like, okay.
Right.
So maybe he just looked at me. Hey, well, I don't know. Maybe he just looked at me and said, man, where you're going, you probably need this.
He's probably going to be around sex workers.
Yeah, exactly. He gave me like these penicillin shots to take with me too. I don't know what he was thinking, but
So we were going. We were talking about. I wanted to throw this out there because we talked about me at my age. I can remember now as a kid. I did nearly die because I got chicken pox.
Yeah, they made you go play with.
And it was really bad, and I had a fever of like 104. But when I got over the chicken pox, the next day I had scarlet fever, and my body was already run down from the chicken pox. So yeah, I nearly died from scarlet fever. So.
You was like that. What was that story with the scarlet fever? With the Velveteen Rabbit? You were like the Velveteen Rabbit kid, Joey.
Yeah,
is that about you?
That's me. That's about me.
I remember when somebody had measles, they'd bring their kids over so their kids would catch it.
Yeah, chicken pox. I remember my mom taking us to chicken pox parties.
Yeah,
right. And my only point about the Hep B thing was it didn't get included to the kids schedule until after 1990, and today you're required as a little kid like 5 Hep B shots by the time you're like 5 years old. Everybody born before 1990, unless they went to ask for it, has 0. Mr. Duggar never got a Hep B shot. Now they ask kids to get 5. So by just using your logic, you would ask yourself, okay, everybody born before 1990 who's walking around with no Hep B shots in America, where's the Hep B outbreaks?
I'm gonna live forever.
Yeah, those are the state-funded, warnings when you're traveling certain places. But yeah, and trust me, I had all that shit.
Hey, FTR, if our friend Just Observing wants to join us, would you allow that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Just Observing, if you'd like to join in this conversation for a minute, I don't think this stream's probably going to go on for another probably 20 minutes, something like that. But if you would like to jump on with us, yeah, exactly. 6 beers later, it kind of goes rough. But Just Observing, if you want to join in with us, we can make that happen for you.
Yeah, or can stick around the back. Or can stick around the back room. I mean, that's perfectly.
Yeah, the back room's scary with this guy.
Yeah, the back room is a scary place.
Come on, join in.
Yeah, you're welcome to join in. Just Observing. She's a cool lady. I like her.
Without you.
Yeah, there's a link. Look at that. He drops the link.
I'm on top of this shit. What are you talking about?
Boom.
No, I think the vaccines have gotten out of control, and I don't know if this is like anything, but when I was growing up, there was a few people that were off, maybe Forrest Gump style or something like that. But I mean, the amount, and I don't know if there's any relation to this, and I'm not saying that there is, but the amount of children now with autism and things like that, there has to be a reason, and why is it that? To search for the reason or to suggest that there is a reason is taboo in mainstream dialect. Like there's a reason for this. Why are there so many people that are autistic now? Does anybody have an answer for that?
That's the point, RF. It's funny. My mom watched that podcast with Joe Rogan and RFK Jr. She texted me. She said, I watched that podcast. It was like listening to you talk to me in 2017 when we had a conversation about it. Everything he said, I've already looked up, researched everything. It was like listening to myself. But what he was saying, he's like, I'm not saying it's this, but I'm looking at the timeline when all of these problems shoot up after that law with immunity in the late 80s, and everything shoots up after the 90s. It used to be 1 in 10,000 kids were autistic. Now it's 1 in 36 in the last 30 years. That's a big jump. 1 in 10,000 to 130 and 36 people. That's a big jump.
Right. It's ridiculous.
I don't know if this was an insult or not, but damn.
Yeah, she was talking about you.
You go ahead and come in here with us, intellectual people.
We'll kick him out of here, sis. Come on, jump on.
Yeah, if you want, we can kick this FTR guy out of here.
Yeah, it's only his show,
But no, Just Observe. We'll be live for another probably 15, 20 minutes. If you want to join us, feel free. There's the link. There it is.
If not, go pound sand and play with a balloon. No, I'm just kidding. kidding.
Don't be mean to my friend now. Come on now.
I'm not. He's my friend too.
That's why he said intellectual conversation.
Yes, I could go either way on that sometimes. I have the split personality. So,
yeah, I don't understand the thing on with the with the autism and like it's coming from something. I mean, maybe it isn't the VX, whatever you want to call those words. Maybe it isn't that. I mean, maybe it's the fluoride in the water and the toothpaste. And maybe it's there's a million things it could
be.
The
cocaine and the meth.
Yeah, maybe it's who knows what it is, but why isn't anybody looking into this? Do they want more of that?
No, because it stops the cash flow. It stops the cash flow. The pharma companies, they're the advertisers for cable news. They're the advertisers for everything. You can't.
Our government is monopoly. They own the insurance companies. They own the big pharma. They own all of it. They own the newspapers, the media, everything. So
no, the government doesn't own it. Those corporations, those people own the government. The people in the government.
That's how it is. Yeah.
The government isn't like a thing. The government is made up of people we elect. Those people we elect.
No, it's not people we elect. Come on, Cap. Get your reality. There's some underlings of the devil out there. I'm going to tell you, the people that are in charge. It's the Soros. It's all the people that won't talk like these. It's the old Jeremy Soros and
to Fool's point, it's not only the autism thing. The last study, and somehow these studies are hard to find, they're not clear, and they don't do them. But the last study was in 2012. 52% of children had autoimmune disease problems, like whether it's allergic to peanuts.
When the hell did people all of a sudden everybody became allergic to peanuts?
Did anybody know?
When did that fucking happen?
Never knew anybody allergic to peanuts my whole life.
No, I never knew nobody allergic to peanuts.
We all ate peanut butter sandwiches.
And have you ever heard people say this stupid shit? And all the people my age can back me up on this. When they say, they're allergic to gluten.
What the fuck is gluten?
Well, wait a second. We all were raised in the 80s and 90s. We all ate Doritos and Pop-Tarts, right?
Yeah, pizza and
frozen pizza,
whatever the hell we wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And gluten's that shit in bread, I think. Isn't it that ingredient or something?
Oh, it's a made up bullshit thing.
I have no idea what
I ate the very first pizza ever made. But anyway.
I went to a pizza place not too long ago, and I walked in there and I was like, they were like, what's the name? And I told them my last name, and they're like, oh, the gluten-free, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, I'm sorry. No, there was 2 orders for that name. Yours must be. I said, yeah, I ordered the one with extra gluten. I want theirs, whatever that is.
Gluten's the stuff
it's obviously what makes it good. Give me that gluten.
Well, one thing RFK asked Joe Rogan, he asked him, how old are you? Joe Rogan said 55. He said, all right, Joe, how many people do you know that are walking around with helmets on their head, smacking themselves, can't talk? I mean, how many do you know? And now go look at to today's society and how many people you see with kids with all these problems. I mean, I have many cousins with kids with autism.
Me too.
All these problems.
My brother has
my friends, but it used to be a rare. I know almost 75% of the people that I know who have kids, there's something wrong with at least one of them, if not more.
And I will say this: a lot of it seems to be single mothers trying to find problems with their children as well. I will put a lot of that on that. I do see a lot. Oh, they're on the spectrum or this or that. When I grew up, I remember we had problems. My brother and I, we were both getting not arthritis, but the coughing thing. What the hell is it called?
Bronchitis.
Bronchitis. Thank you. Bronchitis. And you know what the doctor told us? Put him on a swim team. So at 6 years old, I was put on Stingray swim team in Miami, Florida. And by the time I was 7, I could swim the length of an Olympic-sized swimming pool and never had another problem like that in my life. And my mom always lived by that. So when my other brothers and stuff, and they would be like, I remember she was so mad. They were trying to, the counselor in the school, I think your children need to be on ADHD or whatever the hell that was. She's like, nope, putting them on the swimming team. And she put them on the swimming team. And you know what? That solved it. They wore them the fuck slap out.
Yeah,
and they were good to go. You know?
ADHD was like one of the big ones for a long time, especially in the 90s. Especially that's when it really was like, my child has ADHD. That's
every kid had ADHD.
And they need special. And no, I know, but it's just become an excuse to go, well, take this drug, take this medication, that will help it. And it's like, how about just slap them a little bit and be like, yo, focus.
Hey,
yeah,
my dad could cure that shit. He'd reach up there and grab you by your shirt and put his nose against your nose and say, "Pay attention."
Exactly.
And,
you know what they used to do to kids like
he wouldn't hit you. He just let you know, pay attention.
You know what they used to do to kids like that they call ADHD now? They used to.
Yeah, they give them Ritalin.
Well,
speed.
Now they do.
Fools is right. Like people do it. And that's the pharma companies. It's not just the vaccines. They want people to take their pills. There's something wrong with your kid. He's not quote unquote normal.
Yeah, and sit there like a blumbering idiot playing Tetris on a Game Boy back then.
Yeah,
when I was like, or you could be on the swim team or playing on the sports team or doing these things that are making you get rid of that extra energy that you are getting because you're a normal fucking kid.
Well, right. Lack of accountability on the parents, like you say, in part, I think, in part.
Sorry, Aldo, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just going to say what my mom did with my ADHD ass was on Saturdays when I was acting up, she'd tell me go play, and she used to lock the door and said, "Come back when the light's off."
Yeah,
go work it out.
We'll see you.
I knocked on the door and say, "I'm thirsty." She said, "Drink out of the water hose."
Yeah, right. Maybe actually riding a bicycle with your friends was better off than live streaming video games with your friends.
You don't think
no way.
Sitting in front of a gaming station for 8 hours eating Doritos is good for you?
Yeah, drinking soda, eating fucking pizza rolls, and trolling people online was better for you than meeting up with your buddies on Saturday afternoon and riding your bike 4 miles. Oh, well.
Yeah, well.
Jesus Christ, what happened to society?
You don't have a medical degree, so I won't listen to you.
As we're sitting here online.
Misinformation.
None of us have a medical degree, and nobody should take in consideration us as any kind of a medical expert whatsoever. We're all schmucks. Thank you very much. I'm not a doctor, man, but I know when you're being played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was just kind of a joke of like what's going on now. You can't use your own head if you don't have a medical degree.
I got to have a tin. Where's my tinfoil hat? It's here somewhere. I know what's going on, but a lot of people do too now. A lot of things didn't come out in the Durham report. A lot of people think he should have had a bunch of indictments. Well, he already saying they weren't going to let him indict nobody and try anybody in D.C. And that's what they're trying to do is pull Trump back to D.C. They're not worried about Miami. They're bringing charges up, getting his next set of charges ready for him to come back to D.C. where they can control it. I think it's all that the Congress should take immediate action for all these fake. Okay, next time, every time he gets off and the evidence shows different, people got to pay. Well, the first one to pay so far is Schiff. That's the only one in the kid that signed the FISA, changed the wording on the FISA. Is only two that's went down.
Well, so I mean, it's baby steps by all means. It's a little something. At least it's like, okay, yeah, it's a little something. It's nothing great. Don't worry, it's nothing great, but at least it's.
Well, I'm going to say that I've probably only ever been like prescribed 9 drugs in my whole life, and only 2 of them are by doctors.
I'm looking at 6 bottles.
And you know what? The rest of them probably were a lot more fun. So
7 bottles. We would have
had those antibiotics and blood pressure medicine. I mean, those just make you feel old. I miss the
caught that clap, did you?
Fucking lacquer thinner for a snake bite. How about that?
Hey, lacquer thinner cures all, man. You get cut by anything, you do anything, you fucking douse that shit in lacquer thinner.
Diesel.
It'll cure everything.
Diesel killed crabs too. Just so you know.
Oh God.
Just kidding, bro. I don't know.
It's
I'm
funny
sure
when
it would
I
though.
need to put up the banner again. Hold on.
Take a diesel bath. That can get rid of them critters.
Yeah, if you had to tell me, to take this this nasty ass hit of blotter acid from the 1990s or take the jab, I'm going with the blotter acid.
Absolutely.
right, because
Those
that
were
guy
the
who
days.
sold it to you wants you to come
God,
back.
y'all miss all the good
Right.
acid.
Yeah, exactly. LW, the guy that sold it to you wants you to come back.
What'd he say?
He said, yeah, because the guy that sold it to you actually wants you to come back.
Yeah, right. Oh, those were the days.
Oh man.
I don't know how many of y'all used to drop a little acid every once in a while. Shit.
Not me.
I did. I love mushrooms too. Come on.
Oh man, those are great. You combine the two, it was a hell of a ride.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
no, I
heard.
did it. I swear I did.
I allegedly did mushrooms. I allegedly did mushrooms just about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't get nothing out of them.
Well, let me send you some. Nah, I wouldn't do that.
I remember one time. Here's a funny story for you. I don't care what I did in my past. I don't care to talk about it. So we were going to this concert. It was Helmet, Rollins Band, and Sausage. Sausage was when Les Claypool, he had like split from Primus, which was his band, for a minute. So he made his own band, Sausage. So we go to this concert, and this friend of mine needed a sheet of blotter. And so we just started eating that shit like candy. We went to this concert, and this was in Atlanta, Georgia, and it came like the biggest storm. And the only time in my life I ever wore a Georgia Bulldogs hat was this night, because I don't even know why.
Jesus.
I don't even know why. It should be wrong. But I remember going out there, and it started like pouring down, lightning coming down, and we're outside the Masquerade at the outside part that used to be at the Masquerade. And lightning's coming, and starts pouring down rain. I mean, I'd eaten like 5 or 6 hits of this blotter.
Oh my God.
And the storms are coming down, and all. And next thing I know, I'm like looking at my hands, and they're just covered in blood. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, what's going on? What I didn't realize was it was a stupid fucking hat that I'd borrowed from my friend and just put on my head. But it was a new hat, and it was just like bleeding the red out of it, pouring down my face. And I remember like wigging out so bad. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm bleeding. And it was like,
Well,
Helmet and
shocking
Rollins.
that-
It was a good concert.
Shocking. We've come kind of full circle in a way with Mr. Duggar saying he would send stuff to Joey, because you would probably be arrested for sending that. But
Yeah. I
a
would
little
do that.
baggie of sperm can make it out of jail.
Yeah.
To the
Mr.
girl.
Duggar's
Yeah.
trying to inseminate Joey now. with
Oh,
the
that reminded me.
bag.
Check your mailbox. No, I'm just kidding.
You know.
Send you a
I don't
bag.
like mayonnaise. I don't like
Just-
mayonnaise.
Hey, let me just observing. You'd have to go back and watch the beginning of this show when we did our funny stories. Talking about prisoners sending. Never mind. You'll have to go back to the beginning to get this.
Yeah,
Story.
exactly. Definitely do, because that's why I was like, oh, this is funny. We just came full circle about talking about the mail. Well,
Wow, good show. Good show, FTR.
It's been fun. No, it's been fun. We went kind of all over the place a little bit, and that's all right. That's what we're here for. So, but I think it's about that time at night to have our
What's that?
final words. TF, do you have any final thoughts of tonight's topics, whether it be
It's like
sperm in the mail or
deep thoughts with Jack Handy.
deep thoughts?
No, I mean, I don't really have any deep thoughts whatsoever, but it's been a really great time. As always, thanks for having me on here. It's a lot of fun. And like I will always say, don't trust anybody. Keep your eyes open. Make your own decisions. Make your own thought process. Think for yourself. Don't let us or anybody else tell you what to think.
Wise words. Wise words.
Very,
LW. Do you have any wiser words?
Well, I just want to say that I am not a doctor or a scientist, so do not listen to anything that I said tonight. I'm an Alabama fan.
Which proves it.
Exactly. Nothing, I should say, or I say.
You know how you know Jesus wasn't born in Alabama?
Why's that?
You never find 3 wise men and a virgin there.
And with that, I'm done.
Oh my God.
That almost came out of nowhere.
That was a good one.
Well, W's finished officially, apparently. Mr. Duggar, any more final wise words?
As Mr. Poole say, think for yourself, and it's being put out there for you. Right now, we're getting more information than we ever have. We know Biden's crooked. We know that Trump's getting the shaft. We want you to recognize the 2-tier justice system. Speak out about it. If you have time, call your congressman and tell him you're mad. Opening your window and hollering out, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore, doesn't work anymore. Get online, fuss with people about it. Bring it to the center of attention that we love our country, we love our God. And if you don't agree with us, that's your right as an American not to agree with us. And God bless everybody. Mr. Duggar does love everybody.
And everybody loves Mr. Duggar.
Indeed. Oh, thank God. Joey, what do you have?
Oh, no. Here comes Joey.
Oh, my God.
The devil is a great deceiver, right? And so I caution everyone. And this time we're living in right now, and the world changing like it is, and all of a sudden man is woman and woman is man and everything out there. It's time to start remembering that the devil is a great deceiver. So I don't get too close to any candidate, because you don't know which one the devil is going to be. So I don't get too close to any candidate or any senators or congressmen or any political thing. And that's one thing that I would caution everybody on right here, right now, is don't get too close to a candidate.
Wise words.
Well, you remember when, like the original thing was, these people in Congress, these people like that, they were supposed to be normal working people who had normal jobs, who would go and represent their people. Now it's turned into their job is being a congressman. Like we've lost the point of them representing us as to where. Does that make sense? Like now it's an actual job to be a congressman. It was supposed to be something people were donating their time to do and acting as civil servants.
Well, because now
ordinary, natural people.
They're just stuck doing literally just hearing after hearing after.
And now they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars,
exactly.
and treat us like they're, our overlords or something like that. It's just not the way our government was set up. Everything's gone wrong.
No, our government was not set up for corporations to be in their back pockets. It was not set up for that.
Well, I appreciate Just Observing being here.
Yeah, Just Observing. Great to see her. I do hope you do, Joe. Yeah, she's got a lot of good points. I would really love to have her on this panel with us sometime. I think it would be fun. I think it would be a lot of fun. So you're welcome anytime, Just Observing.
So to the guests here tonight, one, of course, everyone, thank you as usual for coming in to talk freely, and because I take the strike if we get hit by the YouTube gods. I take the strike anyway, so whatever. But for you guys, of course, always promote yourselves too here. Drop your links in the comment section, yourselves, and, promote your channels and all that stuff. I mean, this is a free forum for that stuff. I don't want to forget to mention that.
That's right. Everybody haul ass to Mr. Duggar Fishing. I have 578 loyal subjects who will be saved when we take over.
I'm glad I'm one of them. I'm glad I'm going to be saved by Mr. Duggar Fishing.
Y'all get all the good jobs.
I'm number 402, I believe.
Yep. Y'all are both.
I hope
safe.
I'm number
All you.
69, but I'm not sure if that's true or not.
If not, I'm gonna fire somebody and give you honorary Agent 69.
Oh, God.
You're my hero, Buzz. I love you.
Love you too, my brother. Love you too.
Thank you, folks, for coming in and watching these guys up here. And I agree with everybody here. Trust no one but yourself and your God.
Exactly.
So let me make one last statement. I agree with that. But anybody listening, this is a work in progress. We are trying to figure out, iron out the kinks, get this show into being something cool, something fun, something where everybody can come and hang out and speak their own minds freely without offending anybody. And if you get offended, then go fuck yourself.
Play a game of go fuck yourself. Hide and fuck yourself.
Yeah, you can go play a game of hide and go fuck yourself. So, and you know what? You can order that mug right now. If you go to Top Quality Shirts, you can go on there and go to Traveling Fools and order that mug right now, and it will say, "Why don't you go play a game of hide and go fuck yourself?" So, check that out right now. You can find cool apparel from these weird people like Exploring with Ben and Sam, maybe some Mark Rogers, maybe some Pigskin Pete, maybe some Twisted Rooster, other people like that. There is a hell of a website. Make sure you do go check that out.
All proceeds go to DD Redneck.
And by the way, I sell coffee on that website. Thank you for the shout out.
And you can buy some Joey Foster. I'm just observing. No, this is not like a secret club at all. This is out there for everybody. We just choose not to put it out there in a community that we are in, just because we don't want the nonsense people coming in. If you want to come in and join and bring some people with you next time, feel free. Bring them on.
Heavily promoted.
We'll talk all night.
Plus, follow me on Faceless Truth R on Twitter. Is in my name, the handle, so you get notifications of upcoming shows that we are trying to do every Friday night live here, as well as maybe a couple impromptu stuff. So please hit the notification bell. And I was going to say it, but TF already said it. If you don't like the show, complain to YouTube or just hit the thumbs down. It helps either way. I could give a fuck. This is our panel. We can talk about whatever we want, and just be nice, YouTube, please. Don't
America.
But again, thanks again to all the guests here and to all the viewers here and everyone. Hopefully you have a good night. So don't take this outro as a sad day. Think of this as a moment to uplift ourselves. And
I'm going to take a Midol and go ahead and watch it. So
fight for something better. Don't take this as a depressing ending to the show. But just know that if you don't stand up and do something and fight against the system, the establishment, whatever you want to call it, you're going to get stuck with this.
Bye.
But once again, thank you to all the guests, and we will hopefully see you next week.
God bless.
Bless.